Hi again, everyone. This is my discussion board post for week 2. For this post, we were asked to answer 2 questions. The first is, diversity is often thought of in racial, ethnic, gender, and sexual orientation. However, diversity is much broader. What are some of the other areas of diversity that may be encountered in rural areas? So when I was reading the text this week, the biggest area that really stuck out to me was religious diversity. In most areas, people usually identify, in most rural areas, people identify most of the time as Christians. When you drive around, especially where I live, it often seems like there's a church around every corner, and there's different branches of, or different denominations of Protestant. There's Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian. So there's diversity even within the Protestant faith. Here in Marion, we also have a Catholic church. I recently had the experience of working with an individual who is Catholic, and their faith was very important to them. And I just learned a lot about the Catholic faith through working with this individual. I had had no experience with it in the past. I've also worked with an individual who was Buddhist. So even within small towns, there's some religious diversity. There's also a lot of people who don't view themselves as religious at all, or they may even identify as atheist. And there's a lot of people who have trauma related to religion. So the second question for this week is to identify a policy issue that may affect one of the areas you identified. So I currently work for a community service board in a small rural area in Virginia. And many of the clients that I work with are impacted in one way or another by social welfare policies. And on page 115 of our textbook, it gives us a definition of what a social welfare policy is. So it's defined as principles, guidelines, or procedures that serve the purpose of maximizing uniformity in decision-making regarding the problem of dependency in our society. And it goes on to say that policy is just a way kind of to create a standardized approach for helping those in need. So SNAP, or food stamps, are part of social work policy. Here in the past month, I would say I've had a large majority of my clients say that their SNAP benefits have been either reduced drastically or cut out completely since about the first of the year. And they've received no notice of this. And this has put a lot of clients in challenging situations because they depend on these benefits to pay for their groceries and to eat. To even qualify for SNAP in the first place, a lot of places require that you must be searching for employment or you can lose your benefits. And in rural areas specifically, this poses a lot of different challenges. The first of which I have seen with some of the folks that I have worked with, is they don't have transportation to go apply for jobs. And even if they were to get the job, they don't have a way to get there. And then our local social services, who's in charge of SNAP, always says, well, they can apply on the internet. Well, a lot of folks don't even have internet access at home. They may not even have cell phone service. And on page 125 of our textbook, it talks about food stamp and how the work requirement in both rural and urban areas is the same, but the results have a more negative impact on individuals in rural areas because of the limited job market. Thanks.